Hello and welcome to air refueling in the RAZBAM AV-8B Harrier 2. Now this is no easy task as the probe is offset to your left hand side and out of your vision. So prepare to have a bit of fun, I guess. Let's get into it. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is to get the tanker prepped for your arrival. So we need to go into the comms menu and we need to select tanker.
Texaco 1-1, Uzi 1-1, request rejoin.
Wait for the reply.
Uzi 1-1, Texaco 1-1, proceed to pre-contact at 12,000 at 220.
Okay, now the tanker knows that we're on our way. We need to do a couple of things. Make sure master arm is off, set flaps to cruise, and get ready to trim the aircraft so that we don't drift off.
Caution, caution.
Now we'd normally join the tanker on the left hand side in what is known as the observation area and wait for everything to be prepped and then come in from the rear, but couldn't get the tanker to actually deploy the drogue, so everything's done from behind the tanker because that is where I found it actually works once we get in a bit close enough.
Ready, pre-contact.
Cleared contact.
Now that we've been cleared, make sure that the probe is out and make a nice slow approach towards the drogue. And this is where I'll show you some aiming points. Now I normally line up the HDU with this part of the heading tape here, and that gets the probe and the drogue sort of in the right area to meet. Then I make sure that the drogue and the fuel line cross the path of the refueling indicator lights here. The next off-putting part is this,
Break away, break away, break away.
which if you're not prepared for can really rattle your concentration.
You're taking fuel.
Okay, so we've got contact and we're taking fuel, and now it's just trying to keep the aircraft settled behind the tanker. Now I normally concentrate on the datum on the HUD just so that I can keep the aircraft level and I can keep an eye on the speed as well. But that's just my preference. You may want to use an exterior source to keep yourself stable. In my defence, air-to-air refueling is not my strong point. Another thing that you'll need to take into account is as you take on more fuel and get heavier, you'll need to increase the throttle by 1 or 2%. just to keep yourself with the tanker, otherwise you'll end up drifting off the drogue, so bear that in mind, and also trim out. Wow, such skill. It's also good to note that if you've got great peripheral vision, then this should be fine for you, because you've got to take in a lot that's going on around you, as well as keeping an eye on everything in front of you. Okay, so now we're off the tanker. We're going to make our way over to the right hand side into what's known as the reform area. We can put our probe in and we can put our flaps to auto, so if we've got any buddies that are tanking as well, we can wait in this area until they've done what they need to do and they've joined up, and then depart the tanker on to the rest of your mission. Simple as that really. So it's just a matter of keeping in formation until everybody has done their bit. So this is an example with the KC-135 multi-point refueling system, and again I use the same indicators to line myself up to the basket, although in this example I do make contact pretty aggressively.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Passing waypoint 1 at 3,500. 100, unstaging at board 2944, 100 tons at 3,500.
And then again it's the same deal, break away from the tanker, drop the probe back in, and then make yourself over to the right hand side in the reform area so that your buddies can do their refueling and join up with you so you continue on to your next objective. Then we have the IL-78M Midas, again using the same guidance indicators, and yeah, this one wasn't too bad. Again, it was an aggressive contact, but not a bad tanker to actually fly behind, not so much wake turbulence or disruption from airflow from the aircraft in front, so that was quite a nice easy connect and quite stable to be fair, so not a bad one to get behind. Then it's the same deal again, break off from the tanker, head off to the right hand side in the reform area and just wait for your buddies. It's the same process over and over again, but once you've done it a couple of times you get the hang of it. Except the getting contact with the basket, if you're me, then you end up swearing a lot and then rage quitting. So yeah, it's great fun. Then we have the dear sweet little old S3B Viking tanker. This thing is an absolute pig to connect with. One, to sheer length of the hose is just so short, and you're so close to the actual aircraft, it can just mess with the whole concentration. Again, I use the same line-up technique with the heading tape and indicator lights. managed to get a contact, but I just can't get on with the S3B. But that's the basics of getting a connection with the S3. Flying with it is another thing. My ineptitude just adds to that. But I suppose if you're using an F-18 or an F-14, it could be slightly better, but because of the whole being off to the left hand side and whatever, it's just an absolute pig, and one I really couldn't get on with. But again, that's the basics of tanking from the S3B. I'm no expert. Again, air-to-air refueling is probably the worst aspect of my DCS flying, so the fact that I connected with all of those is a miracle. So there you go. So just to summarise, before contact you need to make sure master arm is off, set your flaps to cruise, trim out, call for clearance, make contact. So that about does it for this video. If you got this far, thank you for sticking around. I hope that's helped, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.